So how do you say your last name?
Stumpff.
Stumpf. Okay. Um, should we wait for him to show up, or you think it's too far away?
To be honest, I don't know where he's at. We can just go ahead and get going. I can kind of walk him through whatever.
Okay. Let's do this. If you would go to Auctionsoft's front end where all the sales are listed,
Okay,
and
I'm there.
go all the way down to the very bottom, and there's a little tiny blue button that says Join Virtual Demo.
All the way down at the bottom.
Very, very bottom.
Okay.
When you click that, you'll see me. Click that, and at that point, you should be looking at my screen. All right, so now you're looking at my screen,
Okay.
and I can actually see what you can see.
Okay.
So I will try to keep track of. In case it lags or something like that, we will. I'll try to pay attention to that. How's my font size and the picture size? Everything okay on your end?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything looks good.
Okay. So now you can just kind of follow along, and I'll just control everything and stop me if you have questions.
Okay.
But usually it's about 45 minutes, and he can come in and we'll just pick up. So thank you for creating an auctioneer's account. So I actually, and actually, actually, I'm recording this.
Okay.
So I usually put them up on YouTube or whatever it is for people to kind of go and see, and that's how I do a little bit of marketing with YouTube is show our training videos and stuff. But all right, so what I'm going to do is you're following along my screen, and basically this the public facing side is a free listing for marketing purposes that you get anytime you create a sale to manage it with the back end of the system. So you can put up as many pictures and information about your sale as you'd like to. It's just included in the sale fee as far as the $20. Okay, it's just a perk. Okay, so that's what you're seeing here. All right, but when you log in, and actually I'm going to log in as me, and then I will bounce over to your account just a second.
Okay.
I guess it would help if I knew my own.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot a T. All right, let's try it again. Okay, so once you go to log in, and maybe you did this already earlier, it'll show your name here and a
Mm-hmm.
dashboard. So I go to Excalibur and type in STUM. Okay, there you are, and log in as you. Okay, when you first come to the system from the back end, you get to what we call the dashboard. And we created this system primarily with ease of use. I'm third generation auctioneer. My parents still run 45 years in the same auction facility. They are still running a weekly sale. We did paper for years and years and years, and I tried to transition my mom into software, and ultimately wrote the first version of this for my parents. And
Mm-hmm.
then it this is version 2, and it is now cloud based and yada yada. So I am well versed in what the auction business looks like, not just a code guy. Okay. So the idea was for it to be simple, and if you are computer savvy at all, this is a no-brainer. This first page is kind of like QuickBooks. You know, as you have sales, it's going to give you a little graph of the success of your sales, the sales numbers, and things like that. If anyone owes you any money from any prior sales, they're going to show up on this first page under accounts receivable or unsettled invoices. All right, and then you can go to settle them here. All right. If you like us, later down, we ask that you give us a little review. Whatever you put here shows up on the front page of Auctionsoft. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The second tab is auctions, and we try to organize everything with these little, think of like a Rolodex file kind of thing, but I'm not sure how old you are. That's an old reference, but the little tabs. But so under future auctions, you have this sale that I created for our demo this evening. Now, with Auctionsoft, you don't pay a monthly fee. You pay $20 to create the sale, and then you never lose access to that. So 5 years from now, you're going to be able to go back to your list of past auctions and see everything you ever did in case you need to print reports or you're getting audited or something strange like that. Okay? All right, so that's that page. Customers. This is the catch-all for customers. And for us, customer is both bidder and consigner, but anyone you put in the system will show up here. If you happen to have a spreadsheet with old customers, you can do an upload from like an Excel spreadsheet. But you'll see this grow as you go along. Okay.
Are you showing me different tabs?
Oh.
Because I have not switched from the main.
I see that. I see that. Let me see what's going on here. Let me do this. All right, now I'm going to have to back up a little bit. Okay. Oh my gosh, I wasn't paying attention. So let me go back here.
Well, and I thought you were just kind of talking, and then I realized that you're going through the tabs that I've already went through, kind of just looking at things,
right.
And then.
Okay, well, thank you for stopping me.
Yeah.
And stop me if you have any questions too, because I have a routine, but I'm fine with deviating from that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we're here on the same page, you and I, this top dashboard is, like I said, what you have here is unsettled invoices in this section. But the dashboard, there's not a lot going on here. It's really just a landing page to come in. Under auctions, I created this sale for you. The Rolodex type tab system is here, so under past sales and future sales. But you'll need to come find the sale you want to work on, and then come over here to the right to manage that. Customers, again, bidders and consigners, they'll both show up under a master. We do some old school stuff like you can print mailing labels and stuff from your list and so on and so forth. Staff, if you want to give people that work for you access, but you don't want to give them access to all the reports or the tax filings or all that kind of stuff, we can set up different user permissions for you once you create a staff group. And I won't spend a lot of time on that. If you want to do that, then I'll walk you through that. Okay. And it's super simple. Reports, just the things that are important to you. Sales tax due, you'll set a date range over here, whether you're paying sales tax by the month or the quarter or whatever it is. But any of these reports, you first set a date range, and then you can click the tab and it'll run the report. And we don't have any data here or anything, but you kind of see how that works. Okay. Do you plan to use permanent bid numbers? So once you give someone some number, that's going to be their number every time they come?
We currently have that. It's all on paper.
Okay. So we have a very good system for tracking permanent bid numbers and permanent consignor numbers. And I'll walk you through creating those. Since you want to use that, I'll make sure that's part of my routine here. Okay. Under my profile, this is simply Parker's account. Everything that him as the owner of this account would be, and if you need to change your address or phone number or email address or whatever that might be, you put that here. But every person that you have as a bidder or a consignor, they have a similar profile. So you'll go to their profile and then you can make them tax exempt. Or maybe you want to set an alert because they wrote you a bad check at some point in the past, or they're a VIP customer. This would automatically show up when they come to get a bid number. This is also where we will tell the system what permanent bid number people are going to be. Okay. Same with consignor right here. This is also consignor where we're going to set consignor rates here in a little bit. Okay. So, and then under my company, now most of these other ones we're not even going to use tonight, but my company is the last one. The company information is what shows to the public if they're looking at your account and they want to know more about you or whatever it is. Of course, your company phone number and the address that you want them to use. Do you have a website address yet?
Yes.
What is that?
Stumpfauction.com.
Let's see. One P, two Fs.
Yes.
Auction.com. All right, and then, all right, so in company settings, we're going to go through and basically put the default information in. So anything you put in this box, every time you create a new sale to run a sale, it will pull the default information so you don't have to type it again. The description is about the auction, terms and conditions, self-explanatory. The auction footer shows up on bid cards and invoices, and you might use that for stuff like, thanks for coming to our sale. We're still taking consignments for October sale. Just little messages. And when they print their invoice or print their bid card, that just shows up there. So you can edit that real quick. Okay. Let's see. Now, under company rates and settings, you can always come back to this if you decide you want to change something or whatever it is. But once we get through these 6 tabs here, these little sub tabs, the system is ready to go. You can run a sale tomorrow morning if you wanted to. So under rates, you charge sales tax?
We do not.
You do not charge a sales tax at any of your sales?
No.
Buyer's premium?
Only on real estate.
The buyer's premium?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll leave that off because I assume the norm is not real estate auctions. So we'll leave that off. That's awesome. Makes it easy. Now, are you taking cash, check, and credit cards?
Yeah. I mean, the normal actually is we do a lot of real estate auctions.
Probably more real estate than we do anything.
Well, look who stepped in.
Yeah, well, I've been listening. I got here a little bit late to the group, but I'm here.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's leave it on then. And what's the rate for that?
10%.
All right. And then we're going to go to payments. Now, cash, check, and do you have any kind of credit card system set up yet?
We do. We use Square.
All right. I'm going to type Square in here. And then, so my dad does something funny. At the end of every year, he'll give gift cards to people to use, or their gift certificates really, back at his auction. Maybe $100, and we track that so that it's almost like a cash, check, charge, gift certificate. So it just organizes your report at the end. Not everybody uses that, but I do have the way of creating those if you want to. Now, when you use Square, that is a third-party device that's outside Auctionsoft, but you have the ability to go set up an account with Stripe. Think of Stripe like the cousin to Square, only it's really focused on developers like us. If you sign up with Stripe, you'll have the ability to check customers out from their phone, or they check themselves out actually, without ever coming to the cashier's window. You need to have a Stripe account if you're doing online or simulcast with us. And the fees are about the same. So you're charging 3% for a surcharge?
We charge 5, actually.
5? Okay. I'm glad I asked. The norm, I think, is 3, but I think people keep going up. Okay, so...
Well, Square does something funny. They kind of typically change it, whether you swipe the card or if you input it. It's just different either way you go about it.
Fair enough. Stripe is 30 cents plus 2.9% no matter what. So 5 will get you covered, no problem. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to leave that turned on for now. But what would happen is you'd go to stripe.com, create an account, probably much like Square. Once you have an account set up, they'll give you 2 65-character keys. And once you put one here and one here, the system just connects automatically, and you charge cards in our system, and then all the reports are tied together, and it's just real nice. Okay, but not mandatory. A lot of people I have still swear by their Square, and they use that, and we turn this off. Okay, now consigners. Let's talk about your commission rates you're going to charge. What are you charging your real estate for real estate commission?
We do not charge the seller on real estate.
That's why you get it all on the buyer's premium.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to create a 0 for real estate. Now, what about personal property?
20%, probably. Let's just say 20%.
Do you have others, like a friends and family rate, or maybe a, if it's some...
We talked about it being, put the cap on sales where if you feel like they're under let's say a $20,000 sale or a $10,000 sale, whatever the number may come to, that we change it to like a 30%.
Okay.
Just to cover costs and stuff. But
okay. Let's do this. Stuff. You can always change this name, edit it, and whatever it is. So let's just put that in there. Okay. So what happens if, well, let me come back to that. So we have the ability to create a sliding scale. So imagine somebody brings you a load of stuff and you want to, per item, differentiate. So maybe the first $10 you get 50%. After that, everything above that goes to your standard 20%. That gives you more money for handling the lower end stuff and a reward for people to bring you better stuff if you're multiple consigners that are putting stuff in your sale. So, and we can create multiple levels of this. I have one auctioneer that does 50% for the first $10. $10 to 100, he gets 25%, and then anything over 100, he takes 20%. So we can schedule this and build this any way you want.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like you're doing that now, so I'm going to leave that off, but the system will do that. Okay. Now, some auctioneers charge a per ticket fee. You know, every time the hammer drops, the consignor pays $1 or a quarter or 50 cents. Again, this is to get more of a percentage on the low volume stuff or the low ticket stuff. You're not doing that, right?
No.
Okay. No sale fees. Maybe somebody brings you a car, they set a reserve of $10,000, it doesn't bring it, but you're still going to charge them.
No sale fee, unless it's, and it would be different for, but I would say somewhere around like it's like $100 for advertisement, whatever.
So let's put that in there, and later I'll show you how to do it. So basically, when you're going to clerk the items on the fly, if the clerk submits it with no bid number, that means it didn't have a buyer, right? It would automatically, the system automatically knows that consigner gets charged $100 because it was a clerked item with no sale. If you don't want to charge it on an item, you can turn it off here and just not do it, or train the clerk to basically just not complete that, reset that line, and start over. But I'll show you again that as we go. Now, let's say somebody brings you a large estate, but and most of it's personal property, but they've got an RV, and maybe you're going to give them it's normally 20%, but you're only going to do 10% on the vehicles. Is that something that might happen?
Yeah, very possibly, especially if there's multiple bigger items, yeah.
Okay, so then what we would do is we would create a tag for that. So as an example, I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to go in here and we're going to say vehicles, and we'll say maybe we're going to do a 10% on that one. All right, so now let's see, that's it. All right, let's go to the next one. For online stuff, if you're doing things online, you can set your own bid increments. We put a standard here, things that we think you'll like, but you can change that at any time. Okay. Let's see, and then this is nothing really, and then this one. All right, so when you are clerking, we have the ability to show you in real time what the sale is doing at that point on the top of the computer screen where the clerk is entering stuff. Some auctioneers don't like to see that, or they don't want the clerk knowing what the sale's bringing, or somebody's looking over their shoulder. Would you like to be able to see that as the auctioneer, lean over and see it, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we'll leave that turned off. I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay, so when you do marketing, give me some ideas of what you use for marketing purposes.
We use Facebook, we use Auctionsoft, Craigslist, and then new
website.
Yeah, in our website.
All right. Let's add a couple more. How about word of mouth? If somebody heard about your sale from word of mouth.
We also have an email list.
Okay.
Billboards.
I like it. Billboards. I did a lot of advertising with billboards when I was running another business, and I swore by those. Now, do you want your bid numbers to start with 1?
Yes.
Consigner numbers 1 as well?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point, guys, we're ready to go. The system's completely set up to run your company at this point. All right, so let's go back to auctions. I'm going to click on manage, and now we are on the cashier's page. During the auction, basically everything happens on this page. All right, this first section here is all about your customers, and it is broke down into 3 parts. One is your master customer list. then the registered bidders. Now these are the registered bidders for just this auction, and your consigners for just this auction. Okay. Now we're going to go through that in a second, but over on the right is just the financials. As the clerk is entering things and people are paying, all of this stuff will update in real time. And then everything that the clerk or multiple clerks put in from different rings will all show up here in a master list for your cashier to be able to edit if they need to. Okay. So this page, very simple. You don't have to jump from page to page like on a lot of software packages. You know, everything's here very cleverly organized. All right. So it's your first sale, and the first person walks up to get a bid number. All right. Well, let me start with this, Parker. Do you have like a number you like to use?
70.
70?
Yes.
Okay. There are a lot of ways to get to a person's profile. If you're on this tab, we're going to use this purple button. Once I open your profile, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to tell my system that every time you come to the auction, you're going to be 70. Now, pay attention here because I'm going to click right here. And the system instantly checks for the availability of number 7, and it was saved for you going forward. But what I also want to show you is I'm not hitting enter or save or update or anything like that. As soon as you enter information into a field and leave the field, it auto saves everything. That keeps you from getting lost in the chaos of an auction and walking away from something thinking you entered it and you didn't, and things get messed up that way. So the system is constantly trying to protect you from making mistakes. And you'll see that in several things that we go through. Okay. Now, do you like to be a certain consignor number since I'm here?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. All right. So now we've done that. And these red buttons here will return you to the sale that you're working on. Okay. So now under the customers tab, we know that Parker is always going to be bidder 70 when he comes to the sale. The next person walks up and says, hey, can I get a bid number? Now, normally, after you get going for a while, you'll have hundreds, maybe thousands of people in your customer list. And to find them easily, you'll come up here and you'll type anything in their profile. A lot of our auctioneers will say, what's the last 4 digits of your phone number? Or what's your last name? Or maybe you know their last name. They're walking up. All you have to do is give them the bid number. So I'm going to give you a bid number, Parker, and the system's going to automatically give you 70. Several things are going to happen. The system puts this blue bar up here and says, yep, he was given number 70. And I can say, all right, Parker, how'd you hear about us? Well, I saw your Craigslist ad. All right, then you go over here and you print on plain paper, because it's cheap, the number 70, and you fold this in half, and here's the terms and conditions for the sale. Here's the little footer we put in place. And now you've got a very cheap bid card. Now, you don't have to use that. You can use cardstock or whatever you want to use. But this is a very nice system to keep it professional. Now, we have, we said what marketing worked. We printed the bid card, and I'm going to get rid of that. The next person walks up. Now, another thing that happens, Parker, is you should have gotten a text message on your phone that allows you to follow along in your purchases on real time. As soon as the auctioneer drops the hammer and the clerk enters it, it will show up on your tally, and you basically have a mini invoice on your phone.
Okay.
All right. Yep. You see that?
Yeah. It's actually Ashley's number, but yeah, we're looking at it on our phone. So yes.
Okay, that's Ashley's number. All right. Really? All right. So, because it's a bid number. Now let's do it this way. So the next person walks up, and you say, what's your phone number? You don't find them in the list. So you're going to come to this page. We use a person's phone number to keep them organized in the system. Everywhere across the country, each person has a unique phone number. So that's how we do it. So can I have your phone number, Parker?
It's 417-342-5199.
All right. Now, when I click this button, you've obviously registered at Hunter's sale before. Okay? So even though you've never been to Parker's sale, the system goes out into the cloud and finds all your information to make it very quick and easy for me to register you to this auction. Poof. So now it's given you number 1. And we've got you in here twice, but we've given you number 1. How'd you hear about us? I saw you on Facebook. We printed the bid card. And, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that one. Meant to hit close. Now, when you are giving people their number, if it's okay to give this person a permanent bid number of 1, you simply hit this button, and from that point forward, they will be locked in as number 1. If you want them to be something special, we're going to do that differently here in a second. Like I gave you number 70 on the other screen. So let's say the next person that shows up is Amish, and they don't want to give a phone number, or don't have a phone number. Then that's when you pull out this little button right here that allows you to enter all of their information, skipping the phone number. But I highly recommend trying to get a phone number at all costs. Again, the system is organizing everything by people's phone number. And if an Amish person comes and they come back every time, you theoretically could have multiple accounts for the same person. Okay?
So I see that there's a button that says scan, I'm assuming the driver's license.
That is correct.
What type of software does that?
Well, it's our software, but you're going to go get a 7580G. In fact, I got one here real quick. But you can find them used on eBay for like $35, $40.
Mm-hmm.
And it's plug and play. Our software talks to it. You just plug it in and it works.
Okay.
As long as you buy that model number, it's a USB plug-in, and you just plug it into any device that you're using. And actually, when you come in here, as soon as let me cancel this, all right? So as soon as you hit this button to get to this screen, you don't even have to hit this. It'll automatically scan from here. So you don't even have to hit this if you don't want to. Okay? All right, but if they're Amish and they don't have a phone number, then you'll go through the motions of putting all this information in. So we can delete a person here. Let's say Joe Blow. BLOU. And now these red asterisks means the system wants this information. If you don't have a driver's license, you're going to have to fake it. If you don't have a address, you're going to have to fake it, because it's trying to push you to keep good records. Maple Lane. And now, your zip code is what again?
65625.
As soon as I fill this last zip in here, the system is going to automatically look up city and state. So even if you're not using the scanner, the system's trying to make your life as efficient as possible. So it's doing little things in that way. Okay? From this screen, you could set somebody's commission rate. If you're putting in a new consignor, you set their commission rate right here. You can give them the next available consignor number or the next available bid number. But if you want them to get a certain number, someone comes to your sale and they've always been 15 and you want them to be 15, you would then go submit and do nothing. That puts them on your list, and then you open up their account to give them that number. Okay?
Okay.
So let's go ahead and submit this person. So now we have 3 customers. 2 of them are registered bidders for this particular auction. We don't have a consignor yet. So let's put our Joe Blow as the consignor. So once you're on your customer list, you just come over here and click the button, and they're given consignor number 1. Again, how'd you hear about us? Yada, yada. Okay, let's close that out. Okay, let's do another one. Let's add a person that is my wife. All right, and poof. Add to bidder. Now we've got another bidder here. 3 bidders, 1 consignor. Everyone is on your list. So it doesn't matter how you add them, they get added to your master because you want to do marketing to them. Okay. Let's see. All right, so when you're on the Registered Bidders tab, there are certain actions that you can perform on bidders that's different than you'll perform on consignors. So let's say Joe has, you've charged him an expense for picking up his, you went to pick it up and you said, hey, I'm going to charge you a pickup fee of $250, and we're just going to deduct that from his proceeds later. All right, you can add as many of those expenses as you want. Oh, And I realize now that I forgot to set his commission rate. So from any of these buttons, there's so many ways to get to the person's profile. I'm going to go down here and then I'm going to put him in for the standard rate of 20%. Go back up, return to event. All right, so now under registered consigners, he's number 1 consigner. His commission rate's 20. Under the action buttons for the bidders, what happens there? Sometimes a wife or a husband will come back up and say, hey, can you print me a separate bid card for my husband and I? We're going to bid separately in 2 different rings. You come here to do that. They didn't get the text message or it didn't go through or whatever it is. You can resend the text message. You can send them a password reset, because Auctionsoft gives the bidders the ability to, they'll be able to come back and look at their invoices from you for years. I mean, they have an account. You're the initial person creating an account, but once they get it, they can reprint their invoices and things like that. Okay. If anybody owes you money, you'll come here to settle those past invoices. And if for some reason you aren't happy that you gave this person 2, you can literally unassign that and say, you know what, they didn't want to. That customer, which was here, I'm going to go to their profile because I meant to give them bidder 5. Poof. And there we go. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm bouncing around pretty quick, and I think that you will, it's so easy to just get comfortable with this, and you'll learn things in it, and then it goes fast, fast, fast. All right? So we've got 1 consigner. And let's see, just a couple bidders. Let's give ourselves another couple bidders here. Let's give that person a bid number, and let's give Joe a bid number. Even though he's a consigner, we'll give him a bid number. So you might have 100 people here, and as they come, you just click, 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 and put them on. It's as simple as that. Okay? Now, over here on the right,
you can search them by their phone number or their name.
That is correct. So Parker, yours is 5199. The system will eliminate everybody else on the list that doesn't have 5199.
Okay.
And then you click the button.
All right. I was just curious.
Quick and easy to find who you need. And you'll see these search boxes in a lot of different places, and it works the same way everywhere. Okay. So we're pretty much done with this area. I'm going to go over here, and this is how you're going to get to your clerking grid. When it's time to start the sale and you give your opening announcements, your clerk is going to sit down next to you on the auction block, and they're going to go open the general clerking grid here. Now, what this says basically is if you're running on a hotspot, a phone in your pocket, put it on Do Not Disturb, and that way it doesn't interrupt as the internet. Because what will happen is if cellular companies will often pause your internet transfer if your phone is ringing. So your clerk will be trying to submit an item and it'll just spin for a second because your phone is ringing in your pocket. That's the reason for that note. Okay. So we've got 1 consigner, it's consigner 1, and now I'm using my keyboard. So we're trying to make it fast. So consigner 1, and let's do a table and chairs. It's the first item up for sale today, and I'm using the tab, which is my left pinky. I'm using the tab between the 2, and you can see you've got plenty of room to write descriptions if you need to, or whatever that might be. This is just a personal property, so I'm going to tab past the tag feature and go to price. Now, what's the price? The price is going to be, we sold it for $250. Now, if you don't put the .00 and you just tab to the next, it'll autofill. But for 12.5, 17.5, you're going to need to put the .50. Bidder on this was number 1. Quantities 1, and enter. My dad runs 120 items an hour, 2 items a minute, and the system has no problem keeping up. Really, once your clerk gets going, if you got anybody that's at all good on a keyboard, it won't be a problem. The system automatically comes back to consigner. It autofills, assuming it's the same consigner, but it's highlighted already, so you could quickly tap a different consigner number if need. But let's go on. The next one's a set of dishes. And tab, and this one brought $25, and the bidder was 2, and poof. Now, it's pink because Joe Blow is our seller, and Joe Blow bought his stuff back. It doesn't hurt anything. It just alerts you that this guy's running his own merchandise. Okay? Maybe you frown on that, but it just tells you. Okay? All right, next item is, let's see, cutlery set. Set, and it brought $125, and the bidder was, I should not do 2 anymore. Let's do 1 back again, and we in it. All right, back to number 1. Now let's do choice box lot. All right, and we're going to put in here, and the first one brought $50, and the bidder was 70, and they took 6, but there are a couple left. So instead of clicking on the green button, I'm going to move to the blue button and clerk and repeat. That records the line, but it auto-fills the rest of this and puts your cursor here in the blue or in the bidder, so you could do pass outs. Same price. 70 took 6, but the number, let's see, 1 took 3, and number 70 took another 2, and you see how that goes. Very quick and easy. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So you can do pass outs. Now let's assume for a second, and I'm going to back up. Let's assume for a second it's not choice. We've gone to something that's we're selling a Jeep, and it's got a reserve. And reserve. I don't know if you would type that in there or not, but there it is. And now we're going to tag it as a vehicle. And it brought 2,500, but the reserve was 3,000. So you're basically going to clerk the item with no bid number. And when you do that, that's what will trigger the no sale fee. Okay. If for some reason we're doing it again, Jeep dash whatever, and we get over here and it no sales, but you decide you're not going to charge a no sale fee, you'll go all the way over here to reset, and it puts you right back here where it's time to start over. So those are the 2 different paths for, now you'll just need to train your clerk, but those are the 2 different paths for charging or not charging a no sale fee on the fly.
Okay.
All right. So we're back here, and all right, so that gives us a little bit of an example with 1 tagged item. These are not tagged items, and we're selling 7 items an hour. It keeps track of that for you. Let's say that the clerk needs a potty break. You can send a message to the cashier, and it's a one-way street. The clerk can send a message, but the cashier cannot send one to the clerk because we want to keep the clerk's focus on the auction. Okay.
Right.
All right. So that's that. You know, it's very light from a coding standpoint, and it goes very fast because it's not using very much data or bandwidth.
Yeah.
So it's almost instant. Okay. Now back here on the cashier's window, a lot has happened since then. Our one ring has recorded, and maybe you've got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but you want one ring that's an auctioneer that's going to sell a bunch of vehicles separately. So you want to keep things organized, and so you're going to go over here in vehicles, and you're going to create a ring for vehicles. And now, if you were selling those vehicles, the system would try to organize parts of the sale for you to keep it organized. Create as many rings as you want. It doesn't matter. We've got our subtotal, and we've not checked anybody out, so we have no credit card fees yet, and no one has paid. All right. Now we've got an error here of $2,500. It's really not an error. It's the system is simply trying to keep you from having problems later. So when I go, all right, what's my error? The system, anytime there is no buyer, the system wants to know why. If you enter, well, let's go back and do that again. All right, here we are. Let's do a sample. With wrong bid number. All right, so I put in a price for $50, and the bidder was 13. Well, there is no 13, so it comes up in red to try to give your clerk a chance to go, wait, Ringman yelled out 13, but that can't be right. I have no registered bidder 13. Maybe it's someone who has a permanent number 13, but they just haven't checked into the office yet. That's no problem. Clerk the item, and after they come and get registered, everything throughout the system will automatically catch up. So all those question marks go away, and it now knows who that was. Just because you did something in a reverse order, it will fix everything once you catch it and update it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So now let's get rid of that. Your cashier has everything editable down here. You just need to click edit first to get to it. Make your change right here. And now I'm going to do that. Let's say this item, person came up and said, no, the table and chairs was sold for $225, the auctioneer was actually asking for $250, but dropped the hammer at $225. All right, the cashier believes that person. It's, it's on her, whim to say, yes, I trust you, or whatever it is. And you can make the change right here. Anything you can see, you can make the change. Okay. All right, now, it's the end of the sale. Somebody comes up, and it looks like 3 people have bid on stuff and won stuff. This person, number 5, didn't win anything, so there's nothing to do. Let's check the first person out. Actually, let's check Joe Blow out first. He's got $25. He's going to pay cash for his items. Now, what is on the left is exactly what shows up on their phone. Okay, you can see everything you've purchased, the sale date, and the information. And we're going to, let's say this person gave us a $100 bill, and then it shows you the change. Once the invoice comes to the middle, that means there's nothing due. That person is paid in full. I like to tell people when I go out and train auctioneers, I say, look, when people come up, it's already on their phone. Do they really need a receipt? Maybe some people insist on it. Fine. You could also click this button and it sends them that same receipt to their email if you take the time to get it on file. We really are pushing you to get cell phone numbers, but people kind of get lazy when it comes to asking for emails. But you could send that. It's already on their phone. Print it if you want to, but it saves you paper if you can convince people, and time, because your printer now has to do the work to print stuff out to hold up the line a little bit. Okay? So now let's do another one. So now as soon as we come back here, the system knows that this person's paid, nothing is due, and they paid in cash. $500, he came in and he wrote a check. The check number, sir, what check number are you using? This is my check. That's too long for check number. 548, and submit. The system tracks how the person paid, and it shows up on their receipt, so they have a record of how they paid, and that comes in important later. Maybe this person has said, hey, you know what, I brought $300 in cash. This is still here because he's not paid in full, and I'm going to write or use a credit card for the rest. Now, this is something that always happens to me on my demo. When I create the demo sale, and you and I then go through and set the settings for your company, I have to come back here because I created the demo sale before we set the settings. So that's where I have to go back in here and say, all right, we're going to square 5%. Go back out here. And now sometimes people will pay and they'll keep bidding, then it turns yellow. Or they'll pay partial and it turns yellow. So you know that those two, this person's not fully paid. At the end of the sale, you can click on this button that says invoicing. It's just the top of the column header. And everyone who is unpaid will automatically come to the top so you can see them. Okay? Now, under continue, because he paid, now he's going to pay with Square. The system, because he's paying with a credit card, the system automatically knows to add the 5%. There's the total. You run your Square. You get a little approval number from Square. Poof and poof. Okay. He paid in 2 different times. Everything's recorded nice and pretty for him and you, because all of this is available to you indefinitely. Okay. Everyone's paid. We're good. Now, the sale's over in seconds. Now, I can see this little thing right here means that you guys have both been watching on your phones. Every time you reload that, it will tell you. I have people that they swear by this. Customers love it. They love watching. Or it's even better. Sometimes they'll find mistakes for you. Something will show up on their phone that they didn't buy, and they'll come to you and say, hey, and long before everybody goes home, you've had a chance to fix it because they bring it to your attention. I'm sorry?
I said that is true. I
Yep.
know what you're talking about. I've
Yep.
ran into it before.
Yeah. Okay. So now, as soon as the last person checks out, you count your money, which is now all over here divided. I should have $325 in cash, some checks, 1 credit card, and then total unsettles. These are no sales. Yeah, no sales. Now, let's say you don't want these no sales to be on your seller's statement. You just come in here and edit it back to 0 and make sure it's off there. But we're going to use that for a demo here in a second. So now it's time to pay the consignor. Same sort of concept. You go find the consignor, and this is what they will get. you'll print this out. All the items were at 20% commission, except for one item that was the Jeep, which had probably a no sale fee. Did we sell it? No, we sold one of them. The other one was
Right.
the other one was a sample without that. Yeah, okay. So we did sell one Jeep. So the 10% rate was effective because it was tagged as a vehicle, and so it redlined so the customer can see that everything was at 20% except for the one item. We come down a little further and we recouped our expense for the pickup fee, but we haven't paid them. Let's go pay our consignor, and you can write a check out of your checkbook, or you can order 3-part checks from us. And let's say you're going to put a check in the printer, and it's whatever that is. Oh, sorry, not that amount. What am I talking about here? $27.80. Let's go back to that. You put the check number in the printer, and it's this check, and now it shows up down here. But we actually have the ability, if you order our check stock, and it's not ours, it's a third party, the system will actually write checks for you. Okay. Again, just to keep you organized and fast. All right, so there's that, and our consignor is paid. Now, we've talked about these 3 boxes. Any questions so far?
No.
Pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Simple and efficient. Now, we talked this yellow settings buttons. When you go to create a new sale, and you put in all the details of the date and the time, and you upload pictures or whatever it is, if you ever need to change anything, you're going to go to the yellow settings button. When you are going to create a sale and upload pictures to get the most out of the front end marketing, this is where you'll come to do that. And you can drag and drop from your computer, or I can send anybody with their phone number here. It defaults to the account holder, but I can send this to you, and then you can just walk around the auction or whatever it is and take pictures, and they automatically get uploaded to Auctionsoft. Okay, we won't talk about catalog yet today, but there's that. All right, back to this. Expenses. Now, this is different than the other expenses. This is, let's say you're paying labor, but you're not really taking it out of the consignor's proceeds, but you want it on your final report for your accountant. You would simply, who are you paying in here, and it was for labor, and you paid them cash and so much, and then you can create as many of these you want. And again, like QuickBooks, it just creates a nice little report. Okay. Promote. You're probably used to getting Hunter's text messages when he has a sale and he pushes out the text blast.
Yep.
This is the tool for that. You can make it say whatever you want here. You come down here and you hit all users. There's only 4 users so far in your list, but they are 6 cents. So figure $60 on 1,000. I guarantee you this is money well spent, but it is optional. You do not have to use this part of our system. I think you will, because everybody loves it and it is very effective, but you don't have to. Okay.
Yeah.
Under tools, you're using. Go ahead.
Like now weather, it works out good.
Well, there's a lot of people, and some people, if they put a sale up 3 weeks ahead of time, they'll do it right then, and then they'll do a reminder like 2 days before. I had one person that canceled a sale because of a tornado hit close by and blew away his tent, so he got a message out to all his customers. I mean, there's a lot of tools for it. Or use for it. All right, now under tools, all right, we actually have the ability to print a QR code out on plain paper, and I need to change my page settings, but this will come out, and because you're using permanent bid numbers, your customers can come to your sale, scan the QR code, and it will automatically check them in at the cashier's window. They don't even have to come visit that. Now, you got to train your customers a little bit to use that. But it is a really nice tool, especially if there's a line of new people that have never been there. Your good customers can just scan that and walk straight to the bidding. Okay. Let's see. Now, the consignor report, this page here, is basically just the same thing. But if you had 20 or 30 consignors, you could come to this page and basically batch print all of the reports for them and then write your checks that way. The short report is a summary without all of the item descriptions. So if you had 20 consignors, you could print this out if you were keeping a hard copy in a manila folder or something like that. Okay. Then the final report. Now this is where I like to talk about how Auctionsoft protects your data. We run a 3-server cloud. The first server is the one you see me running right now. The second server, if I go to make a change at all, it will update the second server in real time, so it's a mirroring server. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, the system takes a master backup of everything that's happened up until that point. So God forbid these servers get corrupt or fire breaks out in the server data center or whatever it is. The last server isn't even in the same city as the others. So we go out of our way to protect your stuff. However, the fourth way we protect your stuff, your data, is through the auction report. 48 hours after the sale, you are going to get an email with a PDF of basically every detail of the auction. Your first page will be the financials page here. Then you'll know some statistics about your sale, how many rings you ran, how many people saw your sale. When you ask the question of how'd you hear about us, it gives you that little breakdown. Everybody who showed up that's tax exempt, every registered bidder, registered consignor, that's sale. You might have 50 consignors, but only people that were in the sale will show up on the report. Again, just trying to be efficient. Every payment that was made with the check number and the approval code, how much people paid for credit card expenses. The expenses, we didn't write down any of those. Consignor expenses that you recouped for the pickup fee. Every single clerked item, what ring it was in, and if you're using the staff feature, even who clerked it. Maybe you need to do some training with people. And so all of that is there. You'll know all the tag dots. So it's basically a snapshot of everything that happened throughout the sale, including a change log. Every change that happened, if you need to go back and scrutinize, why was this changed from $50 to $5? Well, because your cashier pocketed $45 and now you caught them. So this is for you to scrutinize later. You cannot delete anything in Auctionsoft. You can only edit it. So if somebody edited something down to 0 and it just disappears, you're going to know what it was before it was 0 because of the change log.
Okay.
All right? Another way of protecting you. All right, so basically in just under an hour, we created all the settings for your account, had a little mini auction, and paid our consignor. What else do you need to know? Questions?
I don't have any questions.
I mean, it's very user-friendly. It's if you're in the auction business and you know how things run, it makes sense to lay it out this way. So let's see. We charge a $4.99 sign-up fee, $20 per auction. Your sign-up fee gets you your first auction. You can, do you have a sale coming up?
Yes, we have one on Monday.
Okay, so you're going to use this, aren't you?
Well, I don't know if we're
Come on.
completely ready for it yet or not, but I'm going to run the idea by my mom tomorrow. And you recorded this, correct?
I am recording it.
Okay, perfect. And I'm going to show this to her and see what all that we would. I would like to at least, and this might sound goofy to you, but I might be the only way I get Pat through real quick, is at least the idea of if they want to stick with the tickets, that's okay for that sale. But when that ticket immediately comes into the trailer, it gets inputted.
Now you can do that. I have some people that do that because they have a fear of trusting their internet locally, or they just want the paper backup. That makes sense.
And it's nothing that I don't have no confidence in you. This is something that the selling point for them is going to be a tough idea because they're kind of technically challenged, I guess is the nicest way to put it. So, not that it's, she can't do the advertising, do email, and do all that. She's not capable of it. It's just if they have never broke into, when we do our real estate, we've always had live auction, had live bidder, and never really, honestly, on 10%, like we were talking about, they pay the day of the auction, and we might not use this much on like real estate because it's one item that day, and we do a lot of some kind of simulcast, something that we haven't booked yet. But I can see this being very helpful in lots of ways, especially Ashley and whoever's in the trade now. And even if it is getting clerked old school way for the first sale or two until they get a little know that they can run the system, and maybe even be Ashley to do it the first time. I don't know, but at least get everyone kind of up to par, clerks and everyone before we threw it the bottom on it.
So I have got a couple more things to show you here real quick. So another perk of this is when you go into somebody's profile, I'm going to use you for an example here. When you go into somebody's profile, you can set customer groups. And we haven't created any yet, but a customer group might be real estate. And then when you go to run a promo, once you create, in fact, let's just do it if you're okay with that. Let's just go down here to company rates and settings. New group name here. Okay, let's say real estate. And submit that. All right, so that's there. And then we're going to go back to your sale and we're going to look at your profile and we're going to put you on real estate. And that is here. Okay, so now what will happen is when you go to run a promo for your real estate buyers, you can narrow that marketing down to just the people that have been to your real estate auctions. Maybe they're investors or whatever that is. Maybe your customer group is farm machiner. Maybe it's whatever, right? So you can get, say again?
Wrappers.
We got a couple of guys, like we had big farm sales, like what you're talking about. We sent them out notifications because they're good scrappers,
Yeah, okay. Scrappers.
Some of that old stuff.
Yeah, so if the marketing is focused then on that point, and you can get you can get more bang for your dollars. But there are so many things that this system does to replace, and I've had this conversation 100 times with people that are on paper and they've got this reservation or they're just fearful or they don't have whatever. But just the paper tickets cost probably more than the $20 you'll pay per sale. Right? And then, one of the things I always tell people is my parents always did a Saturday sale. When they were running tickets, my mom would go to church Sunday morning and she would spend the rest of Sunday afternoon getting everything calculated and figured and organized to pay the consigners, right? My mom got her Sundays back because at the end of the sale, it's a couple clicks and you're done. What is the time worth?
I got to give our crew credit, I guess, is because we always settle up with our seller before we leave the sale, and we usually have everything completely done. But they've got their system; they know what they're doing, and it's not easy for one person to do. This is something that if one person has to be in the trailer, it's
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so is Monday real estate only?
No, we have real estate and a bunch of personal items. It's all consigned by the same person, though.
So, I mean, don't let me push you too hard, but I'm going to push you a little bit. I think if it's a small sale, I could be on the phone for you if you need me. And I'm always going to be available for you or your staff or anybody that has a question. Text me, call me at 10 o'clock at night. I don't care. I'm here for you. But it might be a good sale to play with this. Now, you just need a laptop for cashiering and a laptop for clerking and a printer. And you're off and running. Most people that I talk to, they have this initial fear. And that's the reason I offer to come out when I can, is to hold people's hand through the first sale. And then they're off and running. So, if you can swing it by Monday, I don't think there's anything that you can't do Monday that you could do, on the next sale that goes around. But I would invite you to take this demo sale, come into the sale, log in, and upload images. Make sure. What's the date of the sale? Monday?
Yeah.
What time? What time?
10 o'clock.
10 a.m. Change that. All right, and it's real estate and. So come in and take from your other auction zip or whatever other marketing you're doing and update this card with 5% surcharge. And yeah, live. Okay. And poof. Do you have any pictures of the sale on your phone? Okay.
They're all on your mom's computer.
Yeah. No, I do not.
Okay.
Just,
Well, here we are with this demo that so far cost you nothing. If you can get a couple laptops and put it together, I know you guys can handle this, and there's no time like the present. So that's that. I won't push any harder.
But. Yeah, I know. I understand. And trust me, it's not me you're going to have it's not me you're pushing. I'm going to have to push them a little bit. Oh, she's got, I'm pretty sure she's got 2 laptops that are set back for the auction, but they could be on a life. They could be 5 years old and not been used in 5 years. So I'm going to see what she's got. And I know Ashley's got a laptop thing. They might have to just use personal laptop. But I'm going to see what we can get figured out tomorrow with them, and then I'll just be in touch with you and see if we can get everything else finalized.
Okay. You pay a $4.99 setup, which gets me in the system. That's our initial fee. $20 per auction. Your $4.99 includes your first auction, and then the promo feature at 6 cents per person is optional. If you end up going online or doing simulcast, there is a percentage on that, but it's capped. So whether you do 10,000 or 110 million, it's capped. $200. So $200 is the cap. Yeah, online or simulcast, either one.
Okay.
You'll pay me a maximum. What we find is there is a lot more on online and simulcast. We get a flood of people who call and they'll ask questions about the auction, but they eat up a lot of my other guys' time. To they'll open a support ticket because they've got questions about the real estate or something like that, and we have to kind of refer them, but we manage that, and so we spend a lot more time on it, so that's why it's an extra fee for that too. So all right, anything else you can think of that spurs a question?
No.
It's $20 a sale, $200 if we go simulcast, $500 basically sign up, and that's a one-time. What you were saying is if I refer someone, you get that feedback basically in some way.
Well, however you want it. You want to check, that's fine. But Hunter and I worked it out where I'm just giving him the demos or the promos.
So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. It's not telling me on the idea or Ashley on the idea. It's me selling them on the idea. If I was sole owner of the auction company, there would be no doubt in my mind what my answer would be tonight. My dad started the company, and I am just been in it my whole life. But as far as him allowing any control of anything, it's just now to a point where he's letting loose of some stuff. So